My co-host this evening is an old friend. He's a wonderful comedic actor who began at the Improv and has since become a star of television as well as motion pictures. From his many roles, you may know him best as the lovable Squiggy on Laverne and Shirley. Please welcome back to the Improv, David L. Lander.
Thank you, Bud. You're a gentleman and a club owner. You know, it's great to be back here at the Improv, where so many things for me first started, but I can name only one of them to you that won't be censored. This very stage is where we first did Lenny and Squiggy. Yes, Michael McKean and I greased our hair back and came on stage and did Lenny and Squiggy, and boy, were they dirty. I mean, it was a filthy act when we did them. And then they asked us if we would want to do them on television on Laverne and Shirley. And the question was, can they be funny and clean? So Michael and I thought about it for a while, and we said, I don't know. So, but anyway, one time I was driving home from work. Many times I drove home from work. And I remember I was driving down Fountain Avenue. I was on 35 miles an hour. I couldn't get my car out of second gear. And suddenly, right through the intersection, this white pickup truck was being chased by a cop car, smashed, sideswiped me. The car turned over. The stereo was playing, Just Remember I Love You, and everything just toppled over. My whole career flashed in front of my eyes in 5 seconds. It wasn't much of a career at that time. And the car turned over and sparks flew. I felt like I was in a Clint Eastwood movie. And then when I climbed out of the car, I looked up the street, and there was 2 cops standing on the neck of this poor guy who I imagine was the driver of the car that hit me. And they've got their guns pulled, and I figured, well, I might as well find out. Good, they're policemen. They saw it was his fault. My rates won't go up. I'll go over and I'll ask. So I walked over to the cop, and I said, excuse me, but do you know whether this fella's insured? And they looked at me, and they said, very funny, pal. If you want to do something, we may have the Hillside Strangler here, and you're asking about insurance. Go to that BMW down the street that's totaled and find out who's dead. No, you don't understand, officer. See, I was driving the BMW, and I'm not dead. All I want to know is if he's insured. And the cop looked at me kind of strange, and he said, wait a minute. I know you. You're the guy from the Laverne and Shirley program, right? I said, well, yeah. You're Twiggy. Squiggy. Squiggy. Yeah, that's right. Look, you got Squiggy, huh? Is that the... Oh, that's terrific. This is my lucky night. I got Squiggy over here and the Hillside Strangler down there. Fortunately, he was standing on only one of our necks. So, and pointing a gun at only one of us. But anyway, he said, listen, Squiggy, you know, this is the Hillside Strangler. You might have helped us capture him. With that, a voice from the crowd, which had now gathered around, everyone had emptied their apartment because of all the noise, and somebody yells out, Squiggy caught the Hillside Strangler! And then the next day, I get a phone call from an Inspector Stone. Now it's the detectives handling it. And they say, look, Mr. Lander, it's like the old joke, you know? We've got bad news and bad news. I said, no, the old joke is we've got good news and bad news. So apparently it was the new joke. We've got bad news and bad news. Well, what do you want to hear first? Let me hear the bad news. Well, the bad news is he wasn't insured. In fact, it was his father's truck, his father hates him, and his father wasn't insured. Okay, well, that's the bad news. Now you better let me hear the bad news, okay? The bad news is he wasn't even the Hillside Strangler. Small potatoes. He only strangled 1, 2 women at tops. So that's it, huh? That's his idea of small potatoes. So he went on, and that was it. And I never did have that car paid for. And that was the whole story. Where they kept it, I'll never know. Well, thank you. Like many things in real life, this too had no ending.